Hi, today we're going to be talking about which supplements to take to support running. And people always ask me, what should I take to help me run better and perform better? And I always say it's like anything. It's about getting the foundations of your program right. And actually, supplements are the very tip of the pyramid. It's really important that we get our diet and our lifestyle factors right as the foundation to the pyramid, and then supplements can be a sort of help on top of that. If you're doing things the other way around and focusing too much on the supplements, that tends not to be so helpful. One of the most important things from a dietary point of view, which a lot of people overlook, is just eating enough food. So if you're suddenly find yourself doing high mileage for a half marathon or marathon event, you can soon find yourself in an energy deficit, and that really starts to hurt your training in the long run. You also need to be eating a lot of carbohydrates, which I know runners tend to obsess a little bit about, and that is really important, but it's also important that you're getting regular protein intake. People tend to obsess about, how much protein in one go and things like this, but actually small amounts of protein taken regularly through the day is the best way to promote recovery. And if you think, when you're training hard, especially those long runs and those sort of intervals and threshold and tempo sessions, really hard on the body, and it's really important that we've got that regular protein intake to help support that muscle recovery and ultimately that muscle adaptation, which is the thing that we're training for. And then the third thing is really around sleep, making sure that we're recovering properly in that way. And then just making sure that our training is appropriate, and so not doing too much training too quickly and therefore getting overtrained. So if we get all of those foundations right, then we can start thinking about supplements. I really just start again with foundational levels of supplementation. So before we start thinking about performance enhancement and all of those things, it's really important that we just get the fundamentals right. So the place I normally start is just a multivitamin. So we've got here the Solgar VM75. Now, this is a really good option because it's very rich in B vitamins, which are helpful to make energy and also support the body through the sort of stresses and strains of training as well. So that's a nice simple one-a-day product. I would also think about, just because not everyone enjoys eating fish 2-3 times a week, or otherwise might not have lots of omega-3s in their diet. So it's worth considering a fish oil product in that case. So we've got an omega-3 6 9 here, which again gives us a nice range of all the different essential fatty acids, but especially rich in the omega-3s. And then the other thing I would consider, especially as a lot of training, particularly for marathons, will be through the winter months, and where we know there's not a lot of sunlight around to help us make vitamin D. So it can be a good idea for people to consider supplementing vitamin D through the winter as well, especially when you're training. And that helps with all kinds of things, including immune function, but also muscle function as well. So again, there's a wide range actually in the Solgar range. This is a 1000 IU, but there's all sorts of different strengths and formats, chewables and liquids and so on as well. So hopefully that's a few quick tips there on sort of foundational supplements for running.